Chapter 7 Part 5 Ruy Lopez Exchange, Romanovsky Variation. In this lesson we go back to the first important decision after the exchange variation. After bishop takes c6 dx c6, white plays knight c3. This move protects e4 and makes the threat on e5 real. Black answers with f6. At first this looks ugly, because black moves a kingside pawn and weakens dark squares. But the move has a clear job: it holds e5 without blocking the bishop on f8, and it lets black keep the bishop pair for active play. d4. White should challenge the center before black enjoys the bishop pair too comfortably. There are two major ways to play now. White can trade queens with qx d4, or recapture with the knight and enter a quieter endgame. Both plans have famous model games. E takes d4. Black accepts. If black keeps the center closed, white has gained time and space without being tested. Queen takes d4. The classical direct choice. White offers a queen trade and says, if the queens disappear, your doubled c-pawns will matter. Lasker used this structure as white against Steinitz in Moscow 1896. Alekhine later tested it against Emanuel Lasker at St. Petersburg 1914. Let's see what happens if knight takes d4 is played instead of queen takes d4. Knight takes d4. This is the other important route. White avoids putting the queen on d4 and accepts an early endgame after black's forcing play. c5. Black immediately questions the knight. This is why knight takes d4 is not just a free centralization. Knight on the d-file to e2. The knight usually retreats to e2, keeping c3 clear and preparing development. Queen takes d1, check. Black chooses simplification. Knight takes d1. The endgame is roughly balanced in practical terms. White has the healthier pawn structure and dreams about a better ending. Black has the bishop pair, easy development on the queen's side, and the possibility of long castling. Bishop e6. Bishop f4. Queenside castles. Knight e3. Knight e7. This is the Lasker-Schlechter type of structure: queens are gone, black's bishops are alive, and white must prove that the pawn structure is worth more than black's activity. Let's return back to the main line. Queen takes d4. Black can exchange queens at once. This is not an admission that black is worse. Black is saying that the bishop pair and open lines compensate for the damaged structure. Let's see what happens if bishop d6 is played instead of queen takes d4. Bishop d6. Black can also decline the immediate queen trade. This keeps more tension and resembles Lasker-Steinitz, Moscow 1896. The drawback is that black's kingside remains a little loose, so white often develops quickly and looks for f4 or queenside castling. Bishop e3. Knight e7. Queenside castles. Kingside castles. h4. White keeps the game sharp. The lesson is that f6 solves e5, but it does not make black's king completely comfortable. Let's return back to the main line. Knight takes d4. The queens come off. Now the position is very pure. White's argument is structure, 4 kingside pawns against 3 can become an endgame asset if pieces disappear. Black's argument is activity, 2 bishops, open files, and pressure before the ending becomes easy. Bishop d6. A natural square. Black develops with tempo against h2 ideas and prepares ne7. Let's see what happens if bishop d7 is played instead of bishop d6. Bishop d7. This is another solid development square. Black keeps the bishop flexible and prepares long castling. The difference is mostly move order. Black must still solve development without giving white a free kingside initiative. Let's return back to the main line. Bishop e3. Knight e7. The knight cannot go to f6, so it comes to e7. This is one of the hidden costs of f6. Black defends e5, but the kingside pieces need a different route. Queenside castles. White castles long and puts a rook on the d-file. The game is no longer about winning a pawn. It is about who uses the open files first. Kingside castles. Black is allowed to castle short, but must be careful. The Alekhine Lasker model game showed the full fight. White pressed on the kingside and queenside, while black relied on bishop activity and counterplay against white's structure. Knight b3. White improves the knight and eyes c5 and a5. This is a quiet-looking move with a serious point. White wants to exchange active bishops, control the light squares, and keep the better pawn structure as a long-term story. Knight g6. Bishop c5. White immediately asks for one bishop. In the exchange variation, white is happy when one of black's bishops disappears. The bishop pair is black's main compensation. Bishop f4, check. Black refuses to be passive. Before trading, black checks and gains time. This is the practical spirit of the variation. Black must use activity before the pawn structure becomes a burden. King b1. Rook e8. Rook on the h-file to e1. b6. Bishop e3. We have reached the lesson position. White has the cleaner pawn structure and a simple endgame story. Black has the bishop pair, pressure on the e-file, and queenside play with b6 and possibly c5. The summary is this: f6 is not an ugly weakening for no reason. It is black's way to hold e5 after knight c3. But once black chooses it, black must play actively. If black only defends, white's structure will do the talking. As we saw in this lesson, the exchange variation is a long-term test, not a forced advantage. White damages black's queenside pawns and aims for endgame pressure, while black relies on the bishop pair, active king, and timely pawn breaks.